Hey guys, I'm Brian with aromacup.com. Thanks as always for joining me here, my virtual coffee shop brought to you by aromacup.com. For you Nespresso lovers out there, we have the video for you. A lot of folks have been asking for this video, and we finally just had to get the machine and make it. We're going to talk about the Nespresso Lattissima Plus DeLonghi single-serve espresso machine. Nespresso has really raised the bar with this machine, I have to say. It has a built-in milk frother, it makes great espresso, and it just knocks it out of the park on how fast and easy it really is. So there's plenty to talk about. Let's just dive in and talk about this awesome new single-serve espresso machine from Nespresso. So first off, let's talk about what's in the box. Now there's a lot of different components to the Lattissima Plus, and we'll show all of those to you in just a moment here when we start talking about the features on the machine. But in the box, of course, you're going to get your Lattissima Plus by Nespresso. Very cool, compact machine with a lot of cool features. You get a starter pack of Nespresso capsules, and each of these has a different flavor profile. You can check out some information about the flavors of each of these on aromacup.com and find out more about them, because you're probably going to find one that you like a little bit more than another, but this is going to let you jump in with a sample pack and see what you like about each of these capsules. Finally, you have your documentation. You've got your My Machine manual, which comes with all the Nespresso machines, and then you have this nice magnet-closed binder, which allows you to store that manual and any information for your Nespresso machine. So that's everything that's in the box. Let's break the machine down a little bit and show you all of its features. Okay, so we've broke the Nespresso DeLonghi Lattissima Plus single-serve espresso machine down here into all of its parts, and we're going to talk about each one because, like I say, there's a lot to this machine. Probably why you guys were so interested in seeing us review it. Let's start off talking about the trays, and then we'll just move up as we always do. So I've removed the trays, and you see I have two trays right here. Now, your first tray, your bottom tray, has a simple metal tray that clicks right onto the top of it. Now, this slides into the machine, and it can slide out to be flush with the front. And this is for if you're using smaller espresso shot glasses, mugs, things like that. But you can also push that in, and then you can use a larger tumbler or a mug when it is slid into the machine. And you're going to notice that there's a gap right there. That gap is actually going to be filled up by this tray. Now, this is the pod collection tray, and this is where all of your spent pods are going to end up. Now, that slides right in there, and again, flush with the machine. You have another tray, and this tray doesn't move. It just simply sits right there. But this tray is going to support your milk container when you add it to the machine. Now, that is optional, but I imagine a lot of you are going to want to use it because it's a really cool feature. This tray has a small door on the front of it, which when you pop it open, you're going to find a descaling spout. And that is something that we can cover later on in tips and tricks for this machine, descaling it. That spout just stores right there. Probably not going to have to use it too often, but you want to keep it there so you remember where it is. As we move up on the machine, we have, of course, the brew spigot. This is where all your coffee is going to come out when you brew. And then just next to that, there's a small sliding door. Now, that little sliding door is what is going to give you access to the port, which connects to your milk container and will actually froth your milk. That's also where your descaling spout is going to connect when it's time to descale the machine. Let's talk about the buttons on top of the Lattissima Plus. Now there's 4 buttons, which is a little different from your average Nespresso machine that we have seen. We have the 2 that we're used to seeing, which is a regular size espresso shot and a lungo shot, a double. But right next to them, we also have these 2 macchiato buttons. And these are going to be used when you have the milk container connected to the machine. You have a cappuccino macchiato and a latte macchiato. Depending on if you have the milk container connected or not, certain buttons are going to glow. If the milk container is connected, all 4 of them will glow. If we're just using it in regular espresso brewing mode, only the 2 primary buttons are going to glow. They're rubbery and backlit, which is great. They work flawlessly, very easy to press, just as what we've seen with most Nespresso machines. While I have the machine at this angle, I'll just show you the brew spigot real quickly. Opens up with this lever, as we've gotten used to with most Nespresso machines, and this is where your Nespresso capsule goes when it is time to brew some coffee. Let me go ahead and set the machine down, and then we're going to talk about the 2 liquid containers that attach to this machine. Now, first off, you have the water tank. It's a 30-ounce water tank. It's not very big, but it doesn't need to be because you're brewing espresso, of course. It does not have an option for a water filter, so you want to use filtered water, distilled water. with your machine in order to cut down the lime scale, get the best flavor out of your coffee. This connects just to the back of the machine, and I'll show you guys how it slides on. It's very easy to connect. You do want to be careful with it because that little top can kind of pop off very easily, pop open easily and make a mess. You could fill it while it's attached to the machine or just take it off like I did. Quick note as well, this is where your power button is right here on the top of the machine. Simply press that and the machine is going to be powered on and ready to go. Let's talk about the other liquid container on the machine, and that is the milk container. Now this is totally brand new to the Nespresso line. This is the really cool feature on this machine. Now this milk container is pretty straightforward. You simply fill it up with milk. It has a max fill line on it. And really, if you're going to make a lot of milk-based drinks, you just really want to fill it up to the max line. But you don't need to fill it to a certain location, really, in order to get the type of froth that you want. That's all done on the machine automatically. But on the top of this milk container, you're going to notice a little dial. Now this dial, it starts off with insert, and this is where you're going to want it when you slide this milk container onto the machine. And then as you turn it to my left, you're going to select either less foam or more foam. And so that way you can actually dial in exactly how much foam you're going to want out of the milk container on the Lattissima Plus. There is also a clean button, and this is going to be used after you've brewed milk. We'll talk about that in tips and tricks in another video for the Lattissima Plus. Now, this milk container simply connects to the front of the machine. You need to make sure you have that small door open, and this is where the milk container just connects and slides on. Now, when I did that, my two macchiato buttons started to blink, and that's because now the machine knows that I can start making milk using this machine. The trays, again, they just slide into the machine. And now you are ready to start brewing and making different espresso-based drinks. Especially cool here is that you're going to be able to make milk-based espresso drinks. So let's talk about the operation of the Lattissima Plus, because that was a lot of stuff to cover. Let's show you it in action. The Lattissima Plus is ready to start brewing, and so I'm going to show you, we're going to skip brewing just regular espresso with this. You've seen us do that a million times. I want to show you the really cool features on this machine. So let's start off by making a cappuccino macchiato. And we're going to do that firstly by making sure, of course, that there is milk in our milk container. We want to set the frother to exactly how much froth we want to have. And this starts off with the least amount of froth and moves up to the most froth. Now, since I'm going to be doing a cappuccino to start with, I'm going to just move that dial all the way to my left. That way I know that I'm going to get the most froth out of the Lattissima Plus. Now, I'm going to slide my tray out here so that I can use a smaller espresso-style glass, and I'm going to select an espresso capsule. Now, we've talked about Nespresso capsules a lot in the past. This uses the same capsules that we are used to seeing with any of the Nespresso machines. They are Grand Cru, come in a number of different types. They are aluminum sealed and have the right amount of espresso in them for brewing your beverage. Now, we're simply going to add this to our brew spigot and close it down on it. Now we're ready to start brewing. Now, if I were going to simply be doing, some espresso, I would only be pressing one of these buttons, but I'm going to be doing a milk-based drink. So what I need to do is move this little spigot out right here. Now this spigot, of course, is where the milk is going to come out from my milk container. So you need to make sure to place your cup or mug so that it falls underneath the brew spigot and underneath the milk spigot. I've got it about in the right location right here, so it should be all set. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the cappuccino macchiato button. I place my capsule, I have my milk ready, I'm just going to press that button. Now what's going to happen first is the machine is going to actually froth my milk. So you can hear it. It starts up really quickly, which I thought was really cool. Like, this machine moves super fast and gets things done really quickly. For being a single-serve espresso machine, it literally does everything a lot faster than anything I've seen in a single-serve option, especially for doing everything all at once. Then it's going to brew your espresso. Now, these are macchiato buttons. Remember that. What that means is we're marking the milk with the espresso. Now, I imagine if you wanted to, you could get a little more specialized about this and maybe play with the settings a little bit. But if you want to use the automatic feature, just simply press that cappuccino macchiato button. You see it just did all of the work for me. And that really is like a very perfect little mini cappuccino right there. And as I say, it's a macchiato. So I've actually marked the milk on the top with the coffee. And that foam is really impressive. And look at the layering. I mean, it's really cool. You have the foam, you have a crema, and then you have all that nice layering going right down into your cappuccino. Let's test the temperature real quick. Actually, we're capping out at about 160 right now, which is pretty darn good. So I have to say that's pretty impressive, and that's a really cool little mini cappuccino right there. Now let's make a latte macchiato. So I'm going to use a larger mug, and again, same process right here. Drop the capsule in, close it up. Now the machine is ready to brew. Now I'm going to bring down the amount of foam that I'm going to make. I'm going to slide that knob just about all the way to the right. I don't want as much foam in a latte. So I'm going to move that over right here. And now I'm going to press the latte macchiato button, which is right here above the cappuccino macchiato. And there we go, it's all finished. And now we're going to move on and we're going to brew our espresso. And then you get a good shot of espresso. And you can see, I mean, really impressive layering, I gotta say. All the way from foam to crema, down into your coffee. You even have a little bit of milk down there to kind of finish off that cool layered look. The only thing you're not getting here, in all honesty, is coffee art, which I imagine you could attempt to do yourself in some various other ways, but you really don't need to, because the machine does all the work. When you're all finished, just simply open up that lever and empty the spent pod, and you're ready to keep going. Now you will need to refill your milk container, of course, if you're going to keep brewing, but I love how fast this machine is. It's just incredibly quick, and really, for being as fast as it is, makes a very impressive beverage, I would have to say. Let's talk about pricing on the Nespresso Lattissima Plus. Looking at about $399. So it's certainly a more expensive machine than some of the other options that we've seen, both from Nespresso and from other single-serve espresso makers. But for everything that it does and for how quick it is, I think that's actually a pretty good price point. I mean, if you want something that's just going to be a one-stop shop, this is really going to do it. It's going to do it with exact accuracy, I think, to what you expect out of a cappuccino or a latte or just a good milk-based espresso beverage. So again, about $3.99, and if you want to find out ways that you can get this machine, you want to check out the links in the description here on our video. We'll tell you how you can add this machine to your own at-home coffee shop. The bottom line on the Nespresso Lattissima Plus single-serve espresso machine is that really for the price, for what it does, for how slick it is and how fast it is, I think it's an awesome machine. I can't really see anything that I dislike about this machine when you come right down to it. I've always liked what Nespresso does, and they've really raised the bar with this machine. Being able to do all those different espresso drinks is really awesome. Again, the quality of the drink is just very, very impressive, considering that it is just a single-serve machine which does all of the work for you. Now, there are some things we did not cover in this video, and that's because we wanted to just get right to the heart of what this machine does. So you're going to want to check out our other videos for some tips, tricks, and other usage items for the Nespresso Lattissima Plus single-serve espresso machine. But overall, value is great, and Nespresso, I just don't think you can beat what they make. I'm always impressed, and as they continue to roll out new machines, they just continue to raise the bar over and over and over again. So there you go, guys. I hope you found this useful. As I say, I know a lot of you are looking forward to this video, so I hope that it's lived up to what you expected. But if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to tell us, please feel free to get in touch with us in the comments on our video right here. Make sure to rate us, like us, subscribe, comment, everything in the book. We always love talking to you guys. And of course, join us at aromacup.com, where you can talk with other coffee lovers, find recipes, reviews, and all kinds of information to help you to demystify the world of coffee. That's what we do best here at aromacup.com. I'm Brian, coming to you from my virtual coffee shop. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and as always, enjoy your cup and take care. Hey guys, I'm Brian with aromacup.com. Thanks as always for joining me here, my virtual coffee shop brought to you by aromacup.com. For you Nespresso lovers out there, we have the video for you. A lot of folks have been asking for this video, and we finally just had to get the machine and make it. We're going to talk about the Nespresso Lattissima Plus DeLonghi single-serve espresso machine. Nespresso has really raised the bar with this machine, I have to say. It has a built-in milk frother, it makes great espresso, and it just knocks it out of the park on how fast and easy it really is. So there's plenty to talk about. Let's just dive in and talk about this awesome new single-serve espresso machine from Nespresso. So first off, let's talk about what's in the box. Now, there's a lot of different components to the Lattissima Plus, and we'll show all of those to you in just a moment here when we start talking about the features on the machine. But in the box, of course, you're going to get your Lattissima Plus by Nespresso. Very cool, compact machine with a lot of cool features. You get a starter pack of Nespresso capsules, and each of these has a different flavor profile. You can check out some information about the flavors of each of these on aromacup.com and find out more about them, because you're probably going to find one that you like a little bit more than another, but this is going to let you jump in with a sample pack and see what you like about each of these capsules. Finally, you have your documentation. You've got your My